The thing is, I actually learned Vietnamese as an adult. So I didn't start studying Vietnamese until I graduated from college. And I actually learned in Wisconsin, Madison, Wisconsin. I learned actually in Vietnamese in Madison, Wisconsin, of all places, because they have a Southeast Asian language summer boot camp. And you know, it's interesting because now I can't imagine what life was like before I spoke to my parents, what my relationship with my parents was like before I spoke to them in Vietnamese, before I could speak in Vietnamese. Because now we pretty much only speak in Vietnamese unless we're around people who can't speak Vietnamese. And it's just really strange because I never thought about what their life was like here, having to learn a second language, until I lived in Vietnam and I actually had to learn Vietnamese the hard way. And I don't consider my last day in Vietnam was actually when I really felt comfortable and fluent. And so it's just through a lot of hard work and just a lot of study that I was able to acquire my current fluency. So it gives me a lot of empathy. But I do think that language it's not everything. I see a lot of Vietnamese-American kids who don't speak Vietnamese, and they're very proud of their Vietnamese-American heritage. But when you are able to learn your parents' language, you are able to understand a lot more. Mm-hmm. It was only by going back to Vietnam being in Vietnam for the first time, or going back, I guess, to Vietnam and just seeing the way that Vietnamese live that I really began to understand, oh, this is what my parents left. When I lived in Vietnam, I was constantly getting stood up. Like, people would cancel last minute all the time, and it was driving me crazy. And I couldn't figure out why, because I was just, I felt disrespected. I felt like, well, why don't people give me, they couldn't have just found out just now, like always. And then a Vietnamese friend explained, no, they knew beforehand, but they cancel last minute because they don't want you to think that they made a choice, that appointment over you. They want you to feel that this is something that just came up and there's no way that they could possibly say no. And so, it's just different ideas of respect and time, right?